everybody. As we get into this live and we see the importance of exactly what's going on in the moment, if you were able to read the title, I said XRP, this is a huge moment. If $2.39 fails to hold, could slide quickly. I was going to put could fall below $2, but obviously there's points to go before that, so I wanted to keep it a little more on point in the somebody was reading it, and then I said on hold targets. I was supposed to say targets. It says targers. $2.65, which is not invalidated yet. It's just one of the things we talked about yesterday was now that we've fallen down in this channel, it's one of those buy support, sell resistance. So I did not make any kind of movement. I didn't re-lever up or anything like that. I'm trying to see how we play positioning wise, and looking back, we talked about that 228 to 232 where we thought it would make sense to come down there, especially with how we were trying to catch up in some of these time frames. It seems like this isn't exactly the start that I wanted to see. When I woke up and seen that we were bumping up, I'm like, uh-oh. Like seeing Linea up 30% or more. That one was more like an uh-oh because my son has been sick, as some of you know, and grandma's here right now. He's in good spirits. You'll hear him talking in the other room. He's just had like a low-grade fever. He doesn't have it today so far. It doesn't seem. But just the congestion, that's going to take a while to get through. So, he's got a half day here today and tomorrow, so I don't know if he's going to get any school this week. I have to go to the little conference at 12:15. So I'll be logging off of here around 11:50-ish because we got to leave here at about 12. And I got to go to my son's conference. Fortunately, it's a 2-minute drive. So we'll be doing that. So I appreciate everybody's understanding with that. If I'm talking about what it looks like a reversal candle today, that looks like a standard made reversal. We'll see how it builds out. There's nothing that's happened here that we weren't expecting. So it's still working within the framework that we've come up with. The only question is, are we going to ring out here or not? Remember, I drew this down here for a reason last night, down to 229. We talked about it in live. Now, I really don't want to get below the line I drew at like 235-ish. No, actually, I even came a little bit lower on that line, but I really don't. The best case scenario would have been what we're doing right now. The daily's just oversold. I hate seeing it that way. And I hate that the daily or the 2-hour and the hourly went overzealous like that. Because now it just gives us the ability to form the right arm. I hate that it did that this morning. I really do. I really hate that. Now, sometimes you do come down and try to tap the bottom, but I don't like what it did this morning. An overzealous movement with no volume to speak of is not good. That just gave us the further ability to reject this area. So now this is a very important area. Very important time. Otherwise, it's one of those movements. We know we're stuck within a channel. At the end of the day, we fell back below in my opinion, because of the way I see these charts building, that ends up, like I've talked about this since the beginning of time, but let me for the new people, and I should do a better job of going back to this so that I can explain exactly what this means to me. So XRP's beginning of time, we had the first supply box ever, in my opinion. Went through, didn't do much, went into supply, we came out. This whole thing was supply one. It's a whole channel that it stayed in this entire time. And, well, I mean, maybe not a channel. Well, I guess you could call it. But it stayed within this box the whole time is the point. Stayed within here. That's our supply zone. Then we finally broke up. And then I had to decide. I know you're supposed to do demand and distribution. But to me, when I seen this play out the first time, I said, well, we went into redistribution here after we broke up. And everybody still maintained buys. We had some buy and sells. But mainly we bought through distribution. And then in the demand zone, the reason I say it like this, and it's not how the wick off would tell you to do it, is because I look at that third zone. If we want to get into these parabolic spikes, and you'll see how it plays through as the history goes on, why I decided to do it like this. But every time we get up here, at least this time, we went to demand, and instead of having the buying demand, we switched to selling. Went back to distribution. Instead of having the buyers, they distributed from buyers to sellers, and then we went back down. Now we created a new supply box. It's supply two because we've elevated in price. We never came back down here and maintained in these zones again. Now in supply 2, we come up, we have a resistance where it tends to teeter out about here, come back to distribution. Well, instead of the buyers staying buyers and well, it didn't happen. They flipped over to sellers real quick and came back into supply 3. We didn't have enough people to supply the zone, which is it's typical. That's the 21 rejection. Now we have to create the W reversal, and the pattern we ended up seeing over a 7-year consolidation finished out in this moment, pushed out. And the only difference here this time, the first time ever, even though we went to distribution, we bought, people were still buying, no problem, not like here when they switched to sellers, got into demand, and again, they flipped to sellers. But for the first time ever, when it came back to distribution, in my opinion, it didn't go back to do a new supply zone. It actually bounced out, flipped the sellers, the buyers back up at demand for the first time in its history, bounced out, and then people quickly sold out. And now the problem is every time we get into the zone where we need the real demand to pick up for us to get into discovery and then go into all-time highs in these next layers, we don't exactly have the demand needed. So now we have to keep reattempting to see where we're distributing at. Or is it going to be buyers? Is it sellers at the distribution center? You know, sometimes when you're distributing, you're selling your shit. Sometimes you're buying it. So taking it outside of a charting thing, that's why I set it up like this. And then it's little setups like, okay, well, if it's an all-time pattern, and yeah, this is just something that I do so that I can remember things. It's not going to be 100% what you do. It doesn't even have to, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, I make my own rules with things sometimes. And I think it fits better. But anyhow, that's what those boxes are about. So I think you need to know this because now we're below that demand center. So now we're going into a center of demand. And now think about it this way. You're going into something. You got a lot of hungry fucking people. Excuse my friend. You got a lot of people that are waiting and you're coming through and you need a lot of people. You need a lot of work. Think about like in the army. And we don't really want to look at that, but you're going through and you're going into enemy territory. And all of a sudden, let's put it better this way. Let's not put that grain of salt. How about we do the Fed? The Fed prints money. We got all these bills to pay over the top, right? And we're coming through. We're looking good. We're picking up. And right when we're supposed to get into the demand zone where we're supposed to get paid more money from the taxpayers and things like that to pay out what we owe, all of a sudden, there's no tax money being collected. In fact, we keep borrowing money. So now we got to come back in, distribute, and hope to God they reprint money down here. If not, then we got to go back into the supply zone where we artificially create our own money. But that's just switching it up the way you're thinking. But right now, think of it this way. We don't have enough demand to push the price up even higher. So what we keep doing is we dilly-dally. This is the first time we've really had the opportunity for this extended period where we've maintained ourselves in a demand zone. And even though we haven't forced our way out of it, the more times we come on here and don't have to resupply at the bottom, you're going to hold more and more and more and more. So we'll see what happens here. But there's good and bad in what I see here. You know, there's good and bad. The weekly is interesting. The daily is also interesting because are we creating some kind of inverse right arm or is this about to just come right back down and the old saying will play true? Ready? You could even say, ready? You had the big wick, buy the wick, sell resistance. We don't know where it's at, so how would you know? So buy support that's established, sell resistance, buy support, sell resistance. Does this even get any easier than XRP makes it sometimes? And yeah, does it get hard and you gotta have many different charts and things like that? Yes, and I'll show you why in a second. Good morning. 11:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, November 12th. Old Vincenzo's birthday, FYI. I'm XRP future millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Whew, that one was hard to get out today. I'm not as stuffy today. You know, I've been taking my colloidal silver and things like that, so it never really progressed. It's been kind of nice, actually. And with pneumonia and stuff going through the house, it's been miraculous not having cough or anything like that, or sore throat or anything besides the stuffiness, honestly. Um, Scotty Trade says all eyes on $2.35. I do not disagree with that. What I do disagree with is the fact that we have 44% of you hitting the like button, despite the fact that I'm trying to give you this beautiful analysis. I need more of you to hit that like button. Imagine you walked in somewhere and somebody was giving you out this golden free information, and before you left, instead of just hitting the positive like button on the way out so that they know this person's doing a good job, you're like, I did a great job, but I'm just gonna leave. So this guy gets fired because he's got a 40% approval rating. You know what I'm saying? So look at this as my approval rating. I got less than 60% of the audience with approval. It went up by 12% because I'm talking. Any good politician can do that, mind you. Make the audience feel it in the heart. Ready? Guys, I mean, we could have such a bigger audience. We would have like 50,000 subscribers if you would just hit that like button. I could keep the lights on. Notice my light's off today. Well, I mean, I guess the one back there is on. But, you know, we could do that, but we won't. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, everybody. See, now look, we're at 74% or 70%. See? We've gone up 28% just by simply pulling at your heart. No, I'm kidding. Nobody cares. You guys care, but not the what? Oh, Tommy's he's playing with grandma, so and like that's the thing. He's been not feeling well, but he's energetic. He's gotten these. We've given him these. We switch his vitamin things. Like if you know, they give him Poly V at the doctor's office, and the crazy thing about that is that's the go-to vitamin for them. It's all artificial. None of it's a real vitamin. It's all extracts and artificially made vitamin. Even if it's vitamin D3 and all, it's all artificially. It's not a real vitamin. So when I brought it to the doctor, I'm like, listen, like I don't agree with this. But once I started to look deeper into it, and so me and Julie found stuff with the exact same stuff. It's better. Um, and it's actually real vitamins from actual herbs and the plants and things like that instead of chemically made. Oh, he's been way different. We've been doing this for like a month and a half. Oh, it's been crazy better. Like I just his even when he's sick right now, the energy levels, the fact that he's able to pretty much do his normal stuff. When he's in school, he's more focused. Like I'm telling you, there's something to that. Why would they give polyvisol when it's all artificial nonsense? I don't know, man. And then when we talk about the doctor, you know, when I would bring it up to him, they're like, "Oh, this is just the one we do because that's the one." It's like I know you universally do it, but I don't agree with it. You're a doctor, for God's sake. Why would you give a chemical compound when you can give the real stuff? Anyhow, I digress. Um. So no, what did that say? So no parabolic move this November. Why would you say that? We don't even know if it's going to be this November. It could go into Q1 or Q2, but we're getting our direction, aren't we? I'd say we're still closer to a big move up than a catastrophic move down. Based on the weekly setup, the monthly starting to correct in our favor. Imagine we take this move down to $1.77 to $1.82. We're really going to be moving. We're really going to be moving. Oh, Josh, I know you're just asking, my friend. Josh Jolly, and thanks for being in tons of 3+ months with the XP Meteor. You're just asking, and I'm just answering. That's all. I'm just answering. Remember my tone when I was before I got to your comment. See, this is something I want people to understand when you're watching me. I'm a passionate person, and when I talk and I read your comment while I'm in the middle of a passionate talk, it's going to come out as me sounding like a dick to you. And I apologize for that, Mr. Jolly, because you're actually a really good guy. So, Josh, that is not intended to sound harsh towards you. It was just I was in the middle of talking, and I wanted to represent your comment. Thank you for understanding, Josh. And he's the number one. Oh, I better be nice. He's the number one top fan of the live, too. Bad time. Oh, good news is my face is continuing to peel off from the first-degree burn. See, it looks a little bit better today, doesn't it? Yeah, it hurts like a son of a bitch when you have to peel the stuff off. You know, because you have to peel the dead skin and it's attached to the new skin. Oh, that hurts. Whew. But it's actually looking, it's feeling a lot better, to be honest with you, today. I don't know if it comes across better, but I know you've been watching the escalation of my first-degree burn from Saturday morning. think it's looking a little bit better today, though. Trial by fire, welcome in. And it was like the whole face. Like, I didn't just get it in this, it was my whole face. Thank you, Frankie Fresh says Tom deserves it more than anyone that likes. I appreciate that. 92 likes now. That's awesome. And Frankie Fresh, thanks for being in town for 6+ months with the XP Predictor, along with Aaron and Joseph for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Frankie Fresh, I hope that your hand is doing ever so slightly better today, and you're able to get back to a closer sense of you know, what you are accustomed to. And Janine, I see you out here. Frankie Fresh, significant other, she said I was still beautiful even when my face was all lit up. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Joseph Euler, thanks for sending one gifted sub. A man of his word. He said, I'm going to keep sending gifted subs until, because he said he wants to get more word out to the community and people that might not know. So the gifted sub, and congratulations, Anita Dick. You hear that? Anita Dick. Is that a play on words, or are we being scammed here? Are we going to have to worry about Anita Dick in the Telegram now? I don't know. Kind of sounds like a play on word. But in fact, if your name is Anita Dick, I hope you appreciate that gifted sub by Mr. Euler. Believe it or not, Anita Dick was gifted a sub by Mr. Euler. Mr. Euler, Anita Dick. Interesting. I love it. Oh, I freaking love it. Oh, it was so fun. When I read it, before I read it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a fun one. Ledger says back to $2. It is a possibility. I would say if we fail this movement, here's the way I look at this. If we are getting rejected, and just hear me out, and please don't get mad, everybody. I'm just a messenger. See, I'm just a messenger. I'm just a vessel. I can't help it if this happens, but 255, right, is the channel. That would suggest we could come down to about $1.90. But that's not all of it. So this is the channel. We'll just say, yeah, sure, $1.99. But then we start looking at this. What are we really looking at? Well, I dare say, here, let's do it like this. This broadening wedge is very much in play. So if we didn't come up here, and let's just say, because right now, listen, hear me out. This has not and Scotty Trades will tell you better pay attention to that 235, 232-ish. If it's overzealous, maybe 229 if it's got a wick of steel and it just pulls right back up. But we still got to keep some kind of validation here that this could, in fact, be trying to hogwash us as we go into a government reopening possibly, and then tap the 265. And then if we get rejected, come down here just to piss people off, and then start to fill this back out. Although, remember, on a broadening wedge, you only need 1, 2 hits of support, 2 hits of resistance to validate the pattern. Usually, the third hit is a big boy. That's the big one. That's the big decider. Anita, not a... Ken, I'm glad you're laughing your ass off. Good morning, and thanks for reading down for 6+ months with the XRP for the... Look at all the comments. I love it. And now we got G-string as well. See, G-string, welcome in, perfect with the names. So we got G-strings, we got Anita Dick, we got Mr. Euler, we've got, I don't know what's going on in this community. We got Juice. Of course, we have Juice in here as well. Yep. The Cannabis Podcast fits right in. Another perfect name for this morning. Oh, that's my thing. Remember what we talked about yesterday? I don't know, man. It's always a good sign when things are running up that things might not. Listen, if we're going to pass it tonight, isn't this the perfect time to crash this freaking market? And remember, what did I say? It's not bullish for risk assets, what they're contemplating. And well, I don't know what the hell is going on here with Linea. Is this just a way to get it to drop hard? Who the hell knows what's going on here now? That was some big volume. But now we got to see if this was just to set it up here, man. Come on, Linea. For once in your... I know I'm not in it right now, but I would like to see Linea succeed, to be honest with you. But I still feel like there's going to be despair here. Now, let's see if it can hold if it comes to 1287. If it comes through that area and this was just a fake out and we have something like this now formed, like for real. There's some dicey. But it doesn't even start there. If you look at this, what are we starting to see? I mean, Scotty, I don't want to be that guy, but is it possible that Linea has built a jank kind of rising wedge-ish? I've been trying to... It's such a fucking weird pattern. But it almost feels wedgy. Like a rising wedge-ish. Although, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not rising wedge-ish. And maybe we could... it's so weird. I'm trying to figure out exactly what it's trying to tell us in the short. Because we came out of this big channel. But how often do you really come out of a big channel like this and not backtest that massive falling channel and hold it one time? So I still think it can come below a penny. If this fails, I think Linea is coming below a penny. Now, would I be happy? I might be happy. Oh man, but if all this holds, like for XRP especially, Linea, I don't necessarily think it's really following a lot of stuff, to be honest. But if I'm looking at it deeper, what I've noticed, Linea seems to have better mojo when Ethereum seems to be doing better in comparison to Bitcoin. So if Ethereum's making moves, Linea seems to. And again, this morning when Ethereum was making its movement, Linea was starting to get hot. Like, look what happened with and these candles here. You see how Ethereum was getting hot here, Scotty? Overnight, late last night, got this little dip and got hot. Look at how if you go to Linea, all of a sudden it started getting hot. See, it got hot right when Ethereum did, and then Ethereum started losing steam and it came right back through. Which that's a market-wide thing, but I think it follows pretty closely. Pretty closely with Ethereum, but I like the volume outbreak. So if it can hold this, maybe it's a rising triangle. I'm trying to figure it out. That's why I'm asking the audience. Or maybe I should look at it a slightly bit different, but you can't go back here to look at it. This is all part of the other part of the pattern. Reset here. Notice when it didn't break out on this inverse head and shoulders, it reset down. So now we can't claim that. Now, can we claim it's a bigger inverse head and shoulders? Absolutely. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, is this a big shoulder? Is this coming to a head? And then does this come down into a shoulder? And then we got boom, boom, boom? Or do we have, or is it micro movements where we got boom? I don't fucking know now. Because we had, you know what, put a wrench in this, everybody. And I apologize for swearing again. Because I'm trying to not do that as much. But that 2.88 or 2.088 billion token release on the 10th, it kind of it makes things a little weird because we're starting to see some kind of balance now, but maybe it is the fact that now the market is going to have some kind of, who knows? We got to watch very closely with this market. And I think Linea is a good test, just like Epic is, because Epic was up about 15% earlier. And now look, it's given it pretty much all back. So these are really, I mean, look at this. These are good guiding stones. And we've got this little bit of a setup here where it's in between. And then we've got the overriding pattern as well, where you see that orange line. And I'll show you it from a wider scale, even though trading views being just a little slow, but it's okay. We'll give it grace. So I know, Mr. Stott. Trust me, I think about that too. That's why I try to go into strategic points with Linea. I wish that we could see a little more defined info. Who's at the door? TT? TT. I didn't know if I heard Tommy trying to come in. But yeah, Scotty, please check USD. Oh, my USDT's not up here anymore, is it? That's something that's been missing for a while. The USDT dominance. I used to have it on here right above the crypto stuff. Right before we got into the total crypto market cap. I guess I can put that on again. I like to watch USDT. The market cap. Well, or the dominance, I mean, because if more dominance is going into the stable coin, ooh, that means less money's trading. Oh, boy. You see what I'm seeing? Oh, boy, it's almost past that very volatile resistance at 5.5. If it gets above 5.50, there could be a run on stable. Look at this. That's it. Oh, boy. I don't know, guys. If you're asking me, honestly, do you want to hear something you may not want to hear? Or do you want to hear the stuff you want to hear? If you want to hear the stuff you don't want to hear, I'm going to say this and I'll say it again. It was building this before. Now we've got a little bit of a left shoulder, a little bit of head, right shoulder. There's a chance that we lock back up to an 8% dominance if the market gets shaky here and everybody goes back to risk off. You know. And I know Scotty Trades has been talking about this too. Like, he's made a very good correlation with the price of crypto. This is another reason everybody needs to be in the Telegram. If you appreciate my work, I think it's vital. If you appreciate the fact that I do this for free, there's no charge for any of my content ever. I've been doing this since March 24th of 2021. Haven't missed a day of doing content regardless. I believe if you want to pay it forward, $9.99 a month on the sign up. You don't have to do anything anymore. The Telegram, it got approved on here. So all you have to do is when you go into the membership, it's got the perks. You got the memberships only chat room is the way I had to do it with the exclusive Telegram. So it's on there right when you join. All you have to do is click it now. It goes there for you. It's there. It's just there. That's $9.99 a month if you want to pay it forward. There's the OG perks, which I think 2 people actually do that to pay it because some people want to do more. And then some have done legendary. I have one token I need to send out. I actually signed it and I just need to get it sent out. So I haven't forgot. I actually got the email, which was nice. Can't remember the name though. Anyhow, I've sent them out before too. But yeah. So and then you get the custom emojis and the loyalty badges and everything like that. And the loyalty badge is going to be added a new one now. It's the one I use now that's going to be the next one. But anyhow, you get into the chat and you don't have to do anything now. It's just there now. When you click on it, when you join, it's there. So you don't have to go into a post. You can just get into the Telegram now just like that. So I encourage you. We only need 2 more members and we're at 500. When we started for the first 300 and something members, it wasn't like this, but then we figured out that we were getting way too much spam and had to delete and so on and so forth. So, what keywords do I need before I go down the April 2026 rabbit hole? That's a spicy one. I don't know if I can say it. Just type in forceful relocation, California, New York, maybe starting, like when you can see a difference in some places, April of 26, and start looking at forced relocation and see what starts to come up, my friend. Anyhow, let's continue. So MQT, ooh, I love these tariff charts. I was fascinated. I had to look at that when this opened up. But anyhow. Fuck, he agrees with me. Well, this is bad, guys. I'm just saying, he agrees with me. This is bad. He's got the falling channel breakout. That means it's coming up to around 6%, 5.8. And that means more money is going into safe holdings. That means crypto is getting ready for a drop, probably, if that's the case. And it's breaking out of that downward channel. That is not good. That means typically they come back up and retest the top of this channel. I don't want to draw on his chart, but I digress. I can. So typically, why is it so big? Well, hey, now everybody can see it. So typically, they'll come back up and retest where the channel was. And then it oh man, that looks awful. Here, let me how do I make this finer? Oh, here we go. Oh, that looks even worse. This one? No, that's thick. How do we switch it? They updated it. It used to just be right on there. How do we switch the size, damn it? Can we do an arrow? No, we don't want to. What the fuck? Do that. Let's go back to this where we're safe. Oh, right here. They moved it to the side. I was going to say. Awesome. That's even easier. You used to have to go off the screen. Well, that's not. Now I'm very happy about that. So you got this channel. Beautifully defined, right? The channel. That's the downward channel, by the way. Those are bullish consolidations, especially how it came down to the support structure. You got over the top channels that he's got out there, which we'll pull this back. Anyhow, so typically when this breaks out, they will come back up and retest the channel. Or retest the fall of the top of the channel to see if it's bullish. If it breaks this and we get on top of here, uh-oh. Then we talk about that 8% area. And that means 8%. That means dominance is controlling 8% of the money. Like that's too high. This is too much. If it goes up like this, we got a problem, folks. Like we've got a legitimate problem that's already, you're able to sniff out if you understand the analysis. So falling channel. Price action followed it perfectly. Bounce off support, and it happens to be the upward support. Is that the, what do you have on here? Do you have on the, is that a Bollinger Band on here, Scotty Trades? Are these blue lines the Bollinger Bands? Because if that's the bottom of a Bollinger Band, we got an even bigger problem. Are these Bollinger Bands, Mr. Trades? Now that it's registering in my head what I could be seeing because of this dot in the middle. If anybody's watching this, you definitely want to pay attention to this analysis. Scotty, I'm going to start using your charts and show everybody exactly what you're trying to show them too. Because I think this is beautiful. I think your setup is freaking perfect. It's right when I open the chart. This is exactly what I was seeing when I opened up the dominant chart. Dude, you're a G. You and Nick are freaking amazing. Okay, so that's just the, well, even worse, it's still the channel. Yeah, you're right. It's probably going to come up here. Here, let's go back to, I mean, yeah, fuck. And you've got the channel set up, so I don't have to emphasize that, how it's breaking out. But I can see the inverse 1, 2, 3 set up with exactly what you're talking about, too. This is getting dangerous. I can have your permission. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Scotty. And Scotty Trades is MQ in the Telegram, yes. Oh, he's phenomenal. So phenomenal, the way they do this. Him and, I love how I can do this too. Don't you like how I can do that on here? So let's see what else he has in there. Because he puts in a lot of work. Him and Nick. I'm going to be using this feature a lot more. This is updated on these tablets to where I can do this so seamlessly. Just going from a Telegram picture now. Which it used to make me go through steps. So let's see, that's my problem. The biggest problem here too is now that we're breaking down some of these levels, and this sucks. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. See this? Especially if you're doing the fibs. I mean, I don't know how the eyes aren't going to take out. This is the 228. That makes sense. It's the 0.5. Because that's the exact level that if it comes down, like that's literally your uh-oh moment. Like we're already at the uh-oh moment. Because let's just say this fills out and all of a sudden we start filling out a flag. Then we start to fill out a flag. You know, this can get scary quickly because now you're talking about resetting this entire thing. You've got shoulder, head, shoulder, back test rejected. If this gets rejected here, I mean, it's just a matter of time. And then we're going to start playing this lateral support or this downward resistance that ends up being as a very far out back test. And I always talk about how you can create your inside out wedges by doing this and pulling the patterns from before. Wouldn't it be incredible if now all of a sudden we're inside of something like this and we created our own little thing? I don't know why patterns do this when they break down, but you can oftentimes do stuff like this and then you start to see them build. I know that's going next layer, but that's something that we have to start talking about. That's a massive down. Like if this is, I mean, it's going to go right to you. Oh man, that's the 3-8. Look how perfectly it would line up to. That's the problem here. I bet we come back and test the falling channel, catch pump on XRP back up to SSL line where bears will reload. Ooh. I could see that. I could see that. I really like this dominance chart though because of how it's set up. Like everybody can see perfectly how you put this with the channel. We had an up moment. Falling channels when you have upward volatility is very bullish consolidation, especially if you can come back to this trend line support and hold it, which it did. Got above key, as Scotty put in here at 5.26%. Back tested it perfectly. Now we're breaking out. Now it's a matter of if it pushes up. I'm not exactly sure what's going to stop us from coming here. Because it looks like a lot of people are trying to exit the risk. So if risk off, now if we couple this, what's gold and silver look like this morning? Because if people are going and heading towards risk off, or they're getting out of risk on for risk off, remember, gold and silver is the ultimate store of value because it's good in risk on and off environments. Remember that. They try to trick you with crypto and say, oh, it's the risk off or it's good for risk off and on. Bullshit. It's the biggest risk off. This is the biggest. You take your hands off of this on risk off because it's the biggest risk on asset known to man. There's no earnings. There's no stability. A lot of things that I'm reading, it talks about, and I'm not talking about people putting this out. There's a real discrepancy because of the way XRP Ledger and Cardano and a few others run, that they're in theory not even ISO. I don't even know if I want to say it. They're not even ISO fluent. Like they wouldn't pass the test. There's rumors about this. If you read a little bit deeper outside of the national buzz, because of the way they're run as an entity, that they're not even sufficient for the ISO. Cardano, there's a few of them. There's a few of them that come out. XRP's on that list, believe it or not. Just because of the way that things are moving. Like it's not actually appropriated for the real coding of the ISO. It's actually more centralized, which to me, that's not a surprise. And that doesn't even bother me. I think if XRP could get away from this whole, okay, we've got 1,000 different ISO tokens or IoT compatible. If it could get outside of that and be its own thing, like XRP stands alone. It's not technically ISO. It's not technically IoT. It's not even technically crypto anymore. It's now a treasury that you can trade between the digital markets. You can trade it on the NASDAQ. You can trade it on, and as XRPC coming up with Canary Capital, you can do all of these things. So it's not just a digital asset. It's actually more than that. So now it's almost like when you build an empire. Ready? It's almost, remember the movie with, remember McDonald's when it was made? And what did he do? What did he do to start ownership? He started buying the land, and then he became a developing company to where the McDonald's was just put on the land. And then he was able to, execute and take the original ownership away, even part of it. That's because of planning and plot. I think that's what XRP and Ripple are doing. They're going to be more than just this digital asset. It's starting to turn into more. They're turning it. It's doing more than I could have ever expected this quick. USDT zoomed out. Oh, in the bigger picture, it's horrible USDT. We're just talking about the back test here with USDT. Because in theory, it should come up and get rejected at one of these points, maybe 5.8, 7, 6.28, I don't know where. But in the short term, You have a bullish cross in the monthly and the stochastic. The weekly is way overbought, which is good. The daily is moving down. The 4 hourly is locked up a little bit. This is basically a short-term thing. I don't think it's going to be like the grand, it's not going to last forever. It hints at the fact that maybe we could get a flush coming is the problem. And then with gold and silver, which we still have to look at, if gold and silver are at the same time building up value, it could be speaking to something larger coming today. Oh, let's see. Where's gold? Oh my God. What the hell happened? When I was working out this morning, gold was flat and so was silver. What the? Holy moly. Yeah, something's definitely going on. More money's finding its way into stable coins and into the safe haven of gold and silver. Wow. Wow, we could have a good day in commodities. So gold's up 1 point, but this could be speaking to a reopening or an expansion of the money supply coming, or something's being agreed on with the expansion. We'll see. But gold's up 1.61% or $66 up to 4,192. B2 Gold, we talked about that beautiful buying opportunity, which I bought a couple hundred more when it came down to the support structure. Who knows if that's going to be the overall support, but it was a quick opportunity for even a swing trader to get in. All these tokens, or all of these shares. This is up, what, 12%, 13%, real quick. Back up to $4.22. Silver's up 3.85%. Holy crap. It's trying to take out the old high here. I mean, the old high is only like a buck away now. That's crazy. 54.50 basically. We're only like $1.25 away from getting back into that area. That is a crazy move. 3.8. That's a big move for one day for silver. Wow. That's crazy. Fortuna Silver Mines, we added more, up 3.63% to $8.71. Pan America Silver up 2.9%, back up to $38.68. First Majestic up 5.49% at $12.60. Hecla Mining up 6.64% to $15.75. Silvercorp Mining, as you know, we're hardcore back in. Had a beautiful opportunity when it made this consolidation, which I sold up here. +7. It was almost at 750, 740. Bought back down here. Well, I couldn't resist. We talked about if it went under $6 at all, we were buying it. And we got beautiful chances right around 598. Bought it back up to 1,000 shares, and there we are. Now we're up back over 704. That's a quick return on investment right there. Like I said, when it was even if it's just a return rally and you want to make some quick money, that's 17% we're up since we bought back in. After making 100 and, oh man, that was great. Dolly Varden, we did the same thing on Dolly Varden when they had the announcement of the common shares. Once it over $5, we sold it, even though we didn't want to. Had a beautiful almost 30% pullback. Then we bought it at $3.70 something, 377, 378. And I came on air and said it right when I did it too, because it was in that morning session of a live. This is up 15%. These are beautiful opportunities that have panned out here. No one says they're going to continue on, because now what can happen here is these can all be going up for a double top, the Majestic double top. Now the weekly seems to speak a lot better for some of these because they cleared out. So just pay attention to that sector. If money's finding yield and sound money and the risk off is back in play, and gold and silver, make no mistake, is risk on and off. But if it's back in the risk off and not on risk on, we should see some kind of clairvoyance here with this XRPNW, XRPNU, and XRPN. These should drop. These should drop. This is artificial buzz. These should drop. If the rest of this is dropping, these are going to drop. I wouldn't dip my dough in here right now, because what's going to end up happening is one day, if the market does continue this downturn, we could find ourselves, it depends what XRP does here. We're in the make it or break it moment here for the short term. Yanni, am I going to close my long position? Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the leverage one that I had from $2 and something cents? Just want to make confirmation. Or are you talking about spot longs? Incredible Volk, welcome in and thanks for being in Townsend for over 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. And guess what, guys? You know what today is? Winning Wednesdays. It's a beautiful time to see XDC drop for Winning Wednesdays. Last time we bought it was at 5.1. I'm glad to see it's not up at 6.5 when we have to buy it, or 6.1. So we'll see how this plays out. Extremely oversold in the weekly. Yes, I'm talking about putting into each one. Yep, with the XRPN, XRPN U, and XRPNW. I'm talking about putting into these when the time is right. Absolutely. I want to see how it plays out, though, before I do anything. And I know somebody was asking about that play. I shared it yesterday when I closed it. And I actually took a couple $1,000s from that play because I didn't want to keep it on the exchange. Now I've got like 5. I shared this because that was a trade that was lost before that a few weeks earlier when I tried to set up the same play. But yeah, you can see I closed this trade out at $2.52. So if anybody's on leverage, that trade's closed out. That's not open anymore. I closed that out at $2.52.9. Right when that rising wedge developed and I could see it was getting rejected, it was done. So I took $2,000 out of that profit and I'm sending it to myself. But then I also wanted to share the loss because even though I was confident in a setup, it made a little bit of movement, and that was back on like November 1st. I thought it was going to continue up, and it ended up spiking down, so I lost a couple $100 on that. But yeah, so that trade is closed, Yanni, and I showed everybody yesterday when it was still way up there that it was closed. So there was opportunity, and yeah, it was that one I was happy about, but like I said yesterday, I would not be opening any longs for leverage. I wouldn't even be doing shorts because they were hunting longs and shorts. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I don't like to take out shorts. I like to just position myself and pay attention to my spot. And then if there's a unique opportunity, I will take a leverage every now and then. BITUNIX, I still encourage people to use it. It's just beware. I love TOOBIT as well. Those are the 2 top ones for me if it's coming to leverage and things like that, just because of the variety. And there's a link in the video description below under pinned comments if you're interested. If you're interested in copy trading me, which I'm not in right now, Linea, I'm still monitoring it because it just, I don't know, I feel like we could have a fall through event here, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong. It could be breaking out as we speak, which is the other side of this. As we've seen a nice little rally, I didn't jump on board just because it was going up. But I still feel like it could be a fake out and that it could come out down below a penny still. There's a 17% increase in stake, which means I can see a 17% decrease in price because there's no real news here. And when it came out, you're talking November 10th, it was right about here. And this is like 30%. So who knows? But with that upward stake here, if this breaks down, this is going to be horrible for Linea. You're going to hate, if you're a holder of Linea, that it even gave you the fake out of 18 or 30% here. Because remember, when you build up these fake outs, it just gives you the desire, the ability to have more sellers to fall right through. Most of the time, if it's going to move with the market and it's going to break down, this is that one final push for some of the in-the-know traders to get out. But we'll see if this holds this pattern. I created that like that for a reason. We'll see if it's actually a little bit lower. We'll see if this holds it or not. We'll see if this actually holds. I almost think it should be like, nah, I guess we should do it like, no? Yeah, we should do it like this. But yeah, we'll see if it holds. But if it doesn't hold, this is going to be a disaster for Linea. It's going to end up coming down below a penny, so I think Bitcoin right now is on the verge, because we got rejected at 104. We're on the verge of a head and shoulders building here in the short term and dropping to my circled area at 92K. Hey, nobody said November is going to be pretty. Remember, mid-November could be the start. But it's going to show us direction, and that direction could cause us to have to wait until Q1 or 2 of 26 to get the real payoff. But there's mini payoffs. We've had good times here in November. Been able to make 4, 5, 6, 7,000 and get out, and then reassess. Like There's a lot of stuff here that it doesn't make me comfortable. It doesn't make me comfortable when things are going up 15% and just completely dumping them out. This doesn't make me comfortable. I would like this to clear out. That's what I was saying yesterday. I would have rather this dump down than had this bullshit to start the day, because now we got to clear this shit out now in the shorter, in the shorter time frames. You know, I'm not unrealistic. I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much from the market. Nope, Scotty, I'm not hedging nothing. The only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue to add the things that I want to add to. It's basically the bottom line. I'm gonna add to what I want. Linea, I'm gonna wait to see where it goes. Some of the other ones, who knows? Maybe I have to wholesale liquidate, but I'm not really looking at that right now. I don't want to just get rid of IOTA with the 100,000 tokens and have to gamble that it can get down below a price that I need it to. But I might. If it breaks, I've made no bones. If we break this structure, I've got a decision to make, and it's going to suck. Same decision I made here when it broke it the first time and then bought it back on the drop and was able to go from first 40 to 80,000 on this big drop because I sold out before the drop. Then I went from 80 to 100,000 because I sold out after the drop, you know, when it got, oh man, this sucks. There's too much deception right now for this market to just go straight up. There's no freaking volume. I was hoping that we could get all this BS figured out right now, but this is perfect. We want a bearish downturn going in and forcing rate cuts. If we want risk on to, but it's the same thing I've been saying though. The crazy thing is even if this does everything just hear me out. Even if this does everything we want it to do, it's very possible the better play. And for us, it doesn't matter because we're actually in this, right? But the better play may very well be gold and silver over crypto this time around with the mining stocks. If you understand who gets it out of the ground, it very well might be the play of all plays this cycle. Because with further expansion of the money supply, which we know we're getting with the emergence of the ending of quantitative tightening and going back into hardcore quantitative easing, with the fact that they're printing absurd amount of money and going to rate cuts, I mean, holy shit. But I promise you, being a trader right now is not what you want to be doing. You better be very good at what you're doing. If you're going to just buy and sell, that's just the bottom line. You've got to be stops, and like Scotty Trades will say in the Telegram, and I respect the hell out of him every time he says it in the Telegram. If you're going to trade leverage or even spot and you want to do the swing trading and yada yada, you better already know your buy, your sell, your point of support, your point of least resistance, your point where it's no man's land and you do not want to hold it anymore, or where you want to take that profit out if you want to layer in and out, if you want to ride it the whole way. You better know all of this before you make the trade. And that goes for spot as well. There's nothing worse than buying spot even at 1x, buying a spot position and buying it and not understanding whether it's in the moment of up or down, like right now. But bet you a bunch of people bought XRP this morning. I guarantee it, as a matter of fact, that they bought it this morning on that big pump and they're looking at it going, man, I don't want to miss this out. It's back to 244, which is exactly where it would have come to get rejected. FYI. That was what we talked about yesterday. That was our rejection point. Right in that area. I know Scotty had that a perfect rejection at 244. No, the one I was just showing, Scotty, was IOTA. But there's we better be darn sure that we understand this next little phase here. This is where the money's going to be made again. How many times have I said money's coming and liquidity, having money on the sidelines is the way to go? It's never bad to have money on the side. I got to go, though, guys. We got to go to my son's conference. Got to get gas in the car and so on and so forth. Be blessed. I'll be back later. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Consider joining Tom's Army so that you can be part of the Telegram. If you are not in the Telegram, you are so severely missing out. It's scary. We've done something special. It's taken me 4 years to create this the way I wanted. I closed it down for years, inviting people one by one after people wanted to try to infiltrate it. 2 members away from 500. Slow growing because we try to find the right people. So much stuff. You go into the calculated section with MQ that Scotty trades in here. You go into, if you need help with stuff, go into the technical lounge with Nick. They do a great job. Everybody's talking about this. We've also got Bilbo, who's starting to share really nice charts lately and a different perspective. I noticed Gilbert and Paranomia. I have noticed a lot of people are starting to show stuff. We've got accumulation. We got other things that people are showing and things like that. Remember, in accumulation, you get the manipulated tug down that creates the lower head. And I love that people are sharing this. There's so much of Security Center. In case something's not right, you report it here. All these people that are trying to scam me, and we get rid of them immediately. We've got help sections. We got the Big House Reader's Digest, which is phenomenal. Define does this every Sunday. It's so nice. We've got about 15 episodes or whatever, or 15 editions. There's the daily setup for XRP, that continuous conversation, which is awesome. Copy trading setups, which we only talk about for when we do Linea and things like that, because that's what we're trying to do right now. The help desk, if you need help. There's just everything. There's so much stuff. The pager section is when I share my stuff. And this was before the drop down. We had the stuff on here when it was up at the top. That's where I made the decision to sell out of that leverage, by the way, when it broke that rising short-term wedge, which it ended up creating a slightly bigger pattern, but that's what I thought was going to happen. Talk about what I have, my conspiracy stuff that I can talk about a little more freely in the Telegram. So please don't miss out. If you're trying to trade crypto assets, Tier 1 exchange, I like Kraken for the fees being a lot cheaper than crypto.com, and Uphold if you're on Kraken Pro. There's no link. You can go find it yourself. I do have a link for the no KYC exchanges because TOOBIT is where you can copy trade me. Download that link. I also like to trade Epic and a couple other things on there as well. In fact, that's where I hold my Epic. And then you go into the copy trade, type in XRP Future Millionaire and hit subscribe, not just follow and heart. Hit subscribe and you can follow the next copy trade when I open it up for Linea. But I'm being very cautious because I feel like something's just a little off right now. And I think, it pays to sometimes watch. If you want to trade IOTA or in the moment, DAG on WEEX, that's in the video description below and our pinned comments as well. There's a link for WEEX. That's DAG and IOTA. I have my IOTA there. And then on BITUNIX, they have XPR, which is formerly Proton. And they have, cheap fees and things like that. So those are the links that I trust. So